Good afternoon from Madrid. Good morning, New York. Firstly, I sincerely hope that everybody who's listening and connected is in good health, and safe at home with the families. Secondly, I would like to thank Jordana and Marcelo and Eduardo and all the Fashion Innovation team for creating this digital summit and for inviting Ecoalf to be part of it. Nationwide, I think we all have similar problems. Business-wise, we all have our shops and business closed. So it's a moment of great concern and uncertainty. And that's why I think these extraordinary times require extraordinary measures. Our planet is shaking, no? And we need to act. I think we all have to take responsibility and accept that our mission goes way beyond just business. Fashion cannot just be about looking good anymore. I think those times are over. I think more than ever, it has to be about doing what is right and feeling good about it. What you do is not enough anymore. I think how you do it is. I think fashion business model hasn't been working for far too long time. I think we have a system with a new trend every month, buying, throwing with continuous discounts, campaigns, Black Fridays. That's creating a huge damage to the planet. I mean, when you see we keep on burning forests to plant more cotton, to make more t-shirts of €6, which are going to finish in landfill in less than 2 years, it has absolutely no sense. I think this time is the time to really take it serious, to redefine a business model which is not working. Because right now, I think the moment to look sideways as if nothing's happening doesn't work anymore. I think right now, if you're not part of the solution, you're definitely part of the problem. Nothing could be worse than a return to normality. Let me talk about Ecoalf. Ecoalf was born in 2009. Both the name and the concept behind the brand came after the birth of my two sons, Alfredo and Alvaro. So that's the name Alf, is because Alfredo and Alvaro. I wanted to create like a truly sustainable fashion brand. I believe the most sustainable thing to do was not to keep on using natural resources to ensure those of the new generation. So recycling could be a solution if we're able to make a new generation of recycled products with the same quality and design as the best non-recycled. Problem is that when we went to the market in 2010, there were no cool recycled fabrics. So fabrics were only recycled a small percentage, 15, 16, 18%, and they were not very fashionable. The textures were not very good. So we had to start making partnerships around the world to develop those fabrics. So over these years, we have developed, I think, over 350 different fabrics, recycled from many different materials, what people call waste. Plastic bottles or discarded fishing nets or used tires, or post-consumer coffee, or post-industrial cotton or wool. So probably starting with polyester, it's probably the most popular material. So everybody knows about recycling plastic bottles. I think we have developed more than 120 different fabrics recycled from plastic bottles. Then we started recycling fishing nets in 2013 in Korea. Fishing nets made of nylon 6.6, which is the best quality polyamide you can get. To be honest now, we're also using a lot of recycled polyamide, which doesn't come from nets, also from old carpets and other nylon waste. But we keep on using a lot of recycled nylon. Most of our new Joga collection is made from recycled nylon. Used tires. This was the first program we started in Spain. We wanted to create like the outsole for our sneakers. So we contacted the company, Signus, who is in charge of collecting all the used tires in Spain. And we tell them, okay, how can we work together to work on this project? Now, finally, we decided to work together with the Fashion Innovation Center of the shoemaking in the north of Spain. And after a 20-month program, we developed this flip-flop collection, which looks like a simple product, but has received a lot of innovation prizes. I don't know if you've ever seen a tire inside, but it's full of metal, oxidants, textiles. So we clean them up, we convert them into powder, and that's why we received so many innovation prizes, because we never used any glue, no conglomerate. Everything is done by heat. And we also started working in 2013 with this partner in Asia, which has a lot of know-how to be recycling post-consumer coffee. Basically, he gets the leftovers of the coffee from the cafeterias, the humid compound. He dries them out, he converts them into powder and mixes it with plastic polymers. What's the good thing about coffee? That it has a lot of natural properties, which you don't have to give to the fabrics through chemicals. So it's odor control, it's fast drying, it's UV protection. So we've made a huge amount of fabrics with made from cotton, which look amazing. Recycled cotton. I believe cotton for us is one of our biggest concerns, and it's probably one of the materials we've been investing more time and resources. Some people are not aware, but cotton is not very sustainable. It's too intensive in water. So I don't know if you've seen the film of Javier Goyeneche around the Aral Sea, when the Russians decided to give water to the cotton plantations in Kazakhstan. They dried out the sea in less than 2 years. Today, it's a desert. So and cotton is material which we use a lot. So we've been always very concerned with recycled cotton. We started mixing recycled cotton, getting the leftovers post-industrial. So we separate the colors. So then we make the yarn for that. So we didn't have to dye again the yarn. So we were recycling all the dye materials and also the water and mixing with recycled polyester. We got an 100% recycled yarn, mixing both cotton and polyester. But right now, to be honest, we're much more focused on mixing recycled cotton with organic cotton, because the more and the deeper you get into the sustainability world, the more concerned you are with the circular economy. And the fact of mixing cotton and polyester complicates a lot the future recycling of those materials. Recycled wool. Probably recycled wool is one of the materials that's been recycled for many, many, many years, probably from the old century. There's even a city in Prato called, in Italy called Prato, which is famous for recycling wool. And we have been working for them for almost 6 years, creating new and new qualities. Upcycling the Oceans. Let me talk to you about this project. This is probably our most ambitious project. Upcycling the Oceans was a project that started in 2015. One day I was in a port in Spain talking with a fisherman about the nets, and he said, Javier, you should come out and fish with me and see how much waste get caught in the nets. So I said, okay, let's go fishing. So I canceled my meetings for the next day. We went out fishing and I was shocked. I was shocked to see the amount of waste which was mixed with the fish every time these guys pull up the nets. So I decided to come back to Madrid and started a project. The more I read about it, the more I was aware that basically most of the waste is not on the surface. We believe the ocean's clean, but it's not. I don't know if it's 75 or 70 or 80%, but it's full of waste. I mean, when a plastic bottle doesn't have a cup, it's full of water, it goes down. An aluminum can full of water goes down. Crystal bottle goes down. The ocean is full of tons of discarded fishing nets, which is creating a huge amount of problems with the marine life. And today it's difficult to see a news. I don't know if it's even news anymore, sadly, because every day we have problems, which is creating to all our marine life. But the problem with that plastic is that unfortunately, it's converting into microplastic. And that microplastic has been eaten by our fish, which we are eating also. So this is creating a huge problem. This is a very famous sentence of Ellen MacArthur Foundation saying that by 2050, there'll probably be more plastic than fish in the ocean. I believe there's already much more plastic than fish in the ocean. It depends what you call plastic. If you call plastic a plastic bottle, perhaps not. But if you call plastic a tiny piece of microplastic, I think there's much more microplastic in the ocean, which is absolutely impossible to recover. There's not enough fortune in the world to recover already that plastic. How is that waste coming into the ocean? Unfortunately, a big percentage is coming through the rivers. There's a number of rivers, a lot of them, unfortunately, in Southeast Asia, Philippines, India, China, Thailand, huge rivers, which go all along the country, which go along many different villages, and where nobody's collecting them the trash. So they've thought that the river is the trolley, the waste trolley. So they throw everything to the river, thinking that the river is going to take it out from their village. So that's the problem. The problem is that the rivers are throwing a huge amount of waste every minute to the ocean. They say that it's around 8 million tons of waste going to the ocean every year, which is basically a minute. Every minute there's a truck of 16 tons pouring waste to the ocean. So we decided to do something. So I said, how can we take this from the ocean? Okay, through the trolling boats, which are the ones who go the nets in the bottom of the ocean to collect all this waste. So, I got in contact with a fisherman, the head of fisheries of the east coast of Spain, where there's a lot of these trolling boats. And I convinced them, I convinced 3 of the fishermen to let me put a little container in their boats the one that you see near the boat there, little container, and all the waste that was collected mixed with the fish, instead of throwing it back to the ocean, put it in the container, take it to the port, where we would have all these big containers you see. We would collect all that waste every week. We take it to a categorization plant where we would separate the aluminum from the glass, from the polypropylene, from a shoe, from whatever. Right now, we're recycling 78% of everything that comes out, because all the glass, all the aluminum, all the polypropylene is going to the aluminum recycling plants or to the polypropylene recycling plants, etc. And we're keeping the plastic bottles, which we then convert into polymer, plastic, polymer, yarn, fabric, and product, all made in less than 300 kilometers in Spain with a complete traceability. This project, which started with 3 fishermen on the east coast of Spain, a little Paul Boyajillosa, thanks, by the way, to the help of a New York philanthropist called Henry Pincus, who was the guy who supported me to finance those first containers and to collect that waste and categorize it. So from here, Henry, thank you very much for all your help. Right now has over 3,000 fishermen. We're working with 70% of the trolling fleet in Spain and have collected over 500 tons of waste from the bottom of the ocean. And in 2017, we were contacted by the government of Thailand, by the Tourism Authority of Thailand, to help them replicate that project in a joint venture between them, PTT, and Ecoalf Foundation to help us replicate that. We're already working in Phuket, Samui, Koh Tao, and Rayan. Okay, let me put a little video which explains how we do this program in Spain.
A strange and harmful species has colonized oceans, marine debris. Every year, more than 6 million tons of garbage thrown into the sea, silently polluting every square meter of the ocean and killing even more marine species than climate change affects. If we continue polluting at this rate, the amount of debris in the ocean will duplicate in the next 10 years. We have to change the way we interact with nature and find solutions that ensure our planet's life expectancy. At Ecoalf, we try to do things differently, which is the reason why we founded Upcycling the Oceans, a revolutionary project meant to be carried out also in other parts of the world. Its main goal, collecting the trash that's destroying the Mediterranean Sea and turning it into top quality thread. To do this, we're relying on years of intensive research and development, as well as the support of those that are more familiar with these waters, the fishermen of Levante. Together, we recover 1 ton of trash per day, giving plastic a second chance. Otherwise, it would continue to float in the ocean for an unimaginable amount of years, destroying our ecosystem. There's too much at stake to continue to stand by and do nothing about it. This is the reason why we created the Ecoalf Foundation. Apart from cleaning marine debris, we also more than 6 million tons of garbage is thrown into the sea, silently polluting every square meter of the ocean and killing even more marine species than climate change affects. If we continue polluting at this rate, the amount of debris in the ocean will duplicate in the next 10 years. We have to change the way we interact with nature and find solutions. At Ecoalf, we try to do things differently. Main goal, collecting the trash that's destroying the Mediterranean Sea and turning it into top quality thread. To do this, we're relying on years of intensive research and development. Our ecosystem. There's too much at stake to continue to stand by and do nothing about it. This is the reason why we created the Ecoalf Foundation. Apart from cleaning marine debris, we also raise public awareness on the abuse of natural living on this planet as if we had another one to go.
This is a second video which explains how we transform that waste into yarn. Those were the first plastic bottles we took out from the bottom of the ocean. This was the first product we did with all that waste from the ocean. Basically, we call it the ocean waste sneaker, but also zero waste because all the knitting on the top has zero waste. It's a yarn which is made 25% with recycled plastic bottles from the bottom of the ocean and 75% recycled polyester from land. So it's 100% recycled yarn mixing ocean and land. And all the outsole is made by algae. So that's why we also call it ocean waste, because it was a huge program also of R&D with a US company. Basically, as I said before, it's a very important moment. It's a moment where we have to take responsibility, where we have an opportunity to redefine the model we want for the future. That's why a few weeks ago, I sent a letter to all clients, manufacturers, agents, expressing a series of thoughts and measures that Ecoalf was going to implement. To be honest, those measures have been implemented since we created the company, but we thought it was very important to maintain them more than ever now in this crisis, because there's a sensation where, oh, we're in a big crisis, so okay, let's forget about our values, let's forget about our principles, just save the season. Well, I think that is not possible. I think more than ever, we have to stay with our principles and with our values. So we shared these 8 points with all our teams. No? Ecoalf team is convinced that Earth is facing a critical time and there is a need to take action. Our first and urgent priority is to take care of our people. Staying together and united is the only way to be part of the solution. The situation is hitting us all, dealers, brands, producers. However, we cannot just simply pass our problems to the end of the chain. Ecoalf has decided not to cancel orders from our production partners. Unfortunately, we were hearing all in the last weeks, a lot of companies canceling orders to manufacturers which were almost produced or have produced, and they were not taking responsibility for that. I think we cannot do that. We cannot just take the problem to the end of the chain. And Ecoalf will not advocate for huge discounts because of this pandemic. We don't believe in discount campaigns. We don't believe in Black Friday. We created all these things, create a lot of waste. In fact, we have decided we're not going to make any discounts until July, which is the normal season we start sale. We will open the stores probably in 15 days, but we won't do any discount. We believe that fashion business model with a new trend every month, and the idea of buying, throwing is creating a terrible impact in terms of natural resources, consumption energy, and emissions. We insist that that model is not working anymore for the planet. We're 150,000 more people in the planet every day. We're going to be 2 billion people by 2050. There's not enough natural resources, not enough water. We're consuming too much energy to create products which last very little. It has no sense. We believe in the need to realign the commercial season with the weather. Sell summer through summer and winter through winter. Mark down at the end of the season. For us, it has no sense to be putting the swimwear in January in the stores and the down jackets in July in the stores. This is something which was pushed by the fast fashion and which has created a lot of damage to the market. Sustainability, quality, and timeless design is a must for Ecoalf as a sign of durability and responsible activity. We believe that durability makes a more sustainable product. Fashion trends are not one of our core design principles. We believe that good design is neither new or old. It is merely a bridge from the past to the future. And we don't believe in overproducing. I know a lot of retailers like the brands to have stock so that they can keep on making repetitions. We're not going to overproduce because we believe that's creating a terrible impact. And we are aware that that is going to cause us a loss in sales. So this unprecedented situation has also shown us the strength we have when we're all together. When we're all united, rapid change is possible. So here I beg that we all stay united to create a model which represents a balance between the planet's health and our future needs. Let's all be part of the solution and work together for a planet beyond next season. Thank you very much.
So now we have questions, Javier. If you look to the side, to the chat, you should have some questions from the audience. And you can either read, there's actually a lot of questions that came in for you because it was so amazing. You can either read the questions and the answers, or if you'd like, I can read a question, you answer, and we can keep doing it that way. Which way do you prefer?
Yeah, it's perfect. If you read them, you're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So here we go. So the first question, let me just get here. Okay. So it's in Spanish. I'm going to do my best with the accent. Hola desde España. ¿Tienes pensado reciclar nuevos materiales para crear nuevas fibras como lino reciclado? From Vanessa Miranda.
Yeah, I mean, we have an innovation and sustainability team which is all day working now with new materials. I would say that, for example, for next autumn-winter 20 collection, when we made the other day this study, 98.4% of our materials, we call them sustainable. We had 79%, which was recycled. And then we had another 19%, which is what we call materials of low impact, which they were like linen or tencel or organic cotton or hemp, etc. No? And only 1.6, which we call non-sustainable, which was basically virgin cotton or virgin polyester. So we're all the time working in recycling linen, recycling a lot of different materials. For the next autumn winter, we're introducing recycled cashmere. So yeah, that's part of our goal.
Thank you so much. The next question, recycling waste and plastic into yarns addresses one problem, but when we wash those garments, are we washing residue and microbeads into the oceans? And is there a downside of using these redone materials?
Absolutely right. I think that's one of the biggest problems, and that's one of our biggest concerns and issues. No? I think we have still a lot of things to work on, and I think that the fact of the microfilaments going back into the system, it's one of them. No? To be honest, for example, we stopped using in 2015 the fleece, no? Because fleece, it was a polyester yarn, broken yarn, which every time you wash, no, a fleece jacket, it was throwing like 20,000 microfilaments to the system. So we stopped doing it. So basically, we're concentrated on continuous filament, which throws much less microfilaments to the system, but it continues throwing. So right now we're in 2 projects to create this new generation of yarns, which hopefully won't be throwing microfilaments back to the system.
Fantastic. I'm going to try with my Spanish again. Somos conscientes de vuestro gran crecimiento en los últimos años. ¿Tienes pensado la incorporación de personal en los próximos meses?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for talent. We're always looking for new people. Luckily, it's true. Ecoalf is growing, and so yeah, we're always looking for talent and people who really believe in what we do and in our values.
Fantastic. Love the innovation. I'm curious though, are there any health concerns, potential toxicity, I can't say that word, toxic, with wearing certain recycled materials, plastic bottles, tires, etc.?
Well, it's different. With recycled polyester, if it's done properly, no, not at all. With the used tires, if you see, for example, our flip-flop, you would see that there was a black part, which that's the recycled tire, and on top we had this recycled EVA, which is different, because it's true that the rubber, I mean, if you have it in contact with the skin, it's not very nice, and also I don't think it's very healthy. So yeah, the certain materials you have to be careful, so you don't have to be in touch with them.
So you spoke in your speech that I just watched about the no discount, but this question came in about sustainability fashion, you know, being marked at higher price points, and how can we create something that's sustainable but yet still affordable? What do you think the pain points are for doing that?
Well, I think first of all, I think that we could have a great debate about what is expensive and what is not. Unfortunately, for many people, the correct price for a t-shirt is €6. I believe it has no sense to have a t-shirt of €6 because obviously it's very simple to know what have you paid to the rest of the chain to have that t-shirt of €6 in a big street of an important city. So I believe those prices are the ones who are not correct. No? At the end of the day, there's no respect for those products, and unfortunately they're finishing in landfill in a big percentage in a very short period of time. So we have to start discussing what is the right. Now, when I go to schools and universities and I speak with young people, a lot of them want to be sustainable and they want to go on Friday to this big movement, but at the same time, they want to keep on buying 20 t-shirts of €6. Well, that's not possible. You have to decide. I mean, there's no need for you to buy so much product. So I think we need to, first of all, buy less and buy better, or better quality, better made, with a complete traceability, with a sustainable materials, I mean, we have to change the way we're buying. So it's all about that. Then I always say the same thing. When we started with this, and well, it's still complicated in many facts, no? But when we went to a producer, we said, okay, we want recycled polyester laces for sneakers. Well, the price you get for buying 2,000 laces is very expensive. So that's why I always say that it's very important that the big groups really come into sustainable fashion. But they really come in a serious way. This is not about doing, okay, a small capsule collection which represents 1% of your turnover and doing all the marketing there. No, this is about really shifting your production into sustainability. Because if the real big players shift their production into sustainable, then there will be, obviously, most of the manufacturers will start doing all those products sustainable, so the prices will go down. This is a matter of volume. It's a matter of more and more players working in this field.